Hey everyone, and welcome back to Unveiling Beauty. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I particularly love this episode. You may see I'm flying solo at the moment, but that's just for this moment. You're going to see Ammon a little bit later in the show as he's going to take you through some tips and tricks on styling. That's right, this show is all about summer styles. We have two great guests today. I already said Ammon Carver will be here a little later, but we also have Pro Team member David Lopez. Super excited to talk about easy, breezy hairstyles to do for the summer, whether you're doing them on yourself or you're helping your guests recreate looks on them. All the things you need to know to be summer ready. And as I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I realize I'm looking a little bit summer glazed as it is myself. I've been outside a lot. I'm trying to get outdoors. What are you guys doing during quarantine right now? Everybody I talk to is doing something new that they've never done before to totally get outside, to get outdoors, enjoy the summer, break away from quarantine. I will tell you, every moment I have free, I spend outdoors. I bought bikes a couple weeks ago and I'm like obsessed. So I run the trail, I bike the trail. So put in the chat there. I want to know all the things that you guys are doing that you didn't do before quarantine that you find yourselves doing right now, besides amazing hair and making everybody look beautiful. All right, so before we go any further, if you haven't already, make sure to share the show on your page so all your friends and loved ones could learn all these great tips as well. So to begin, we're going to bring out Mr. David Lopez. Hey,
Hi.
David, how are you?
I'm great. It's very hot in New York City today, so this is a very appropriate moment. As you can see, even my hair's curly today. I couldn't do the blow dryer. I had to wear it natural, which I'm so excited about because I'm going to be going over some amazing natural hair, summer hair hacks and tricks.
Well, I love your natural curl. It always makes me smile. And you and your mannequin are twinning there.
Yeah, totally. 100%. So what I love about textured hair is that, you get this set out of it. Like this is my day one, so I can make this last me a couple days, which is so refreshing. But a lot of times you're a textured client or you're textured hair, you feel like by day 4, you're like it's 100 degrees. I don't want to wear it down. The humidity's really making it expand. What can I do that feels purposeful and fun, that still feels very summer and it's also out of my face? So I have this style that I want to show you that's very fun and easy to do.
All right, talk to me. What is the style that you're going to show us?
Okay, so say you started with your day 3 or 4. Some people go day 5 or 6, depending on your texture. What you want to do is make sure that everything you do feels very purposeful. You don't have to reach for a curling iron. You don't have to re-wet your hair. You can really just utilize your natural texture to hold it safe in place. So what I've done is created almost kind of a faux mohawk moment by doing a circle section in the very front here, then snatching it up on the side, and then in the back, and then in the nape of the neck. The one thing that you'll notice is that when you do things that are pulled away from the face, here's a little tip to make sure it feels very purposeful. Try to line it up with one of your features. For example, this middle section that's being pulled up is lining up with the top of the cheekbones. So that's going to give a really nice elongation to the face. And again, adding to that really purposeful, lived-in, beautiful summer hair. Now that you have it in this ponytail, so of course this is really cute and I love this, but I want it to feel a little bit like Gen Z, like just summer fresh. So what we're going to do is take these little ponytails and very easily pin them into a bun. And this is one of my favorite things about textured hair. I'm going to pinch the ends, give it just a slight little twist, and pin it into the base of that ponytail with just your regular bobby pin.
Now, David, before you go any further, let me take a step back and ask one question. So on those, on the hair that you pulled back into those ponytails, did you have to stretch out that curl first?
So a lot of times when you see textured people pulling their hair back, you don't have to do any pre-stretching. What you can do is utilize something like a gel or a mousse. I actually used the curl glaze mousse and I spread it directly onto the hair. And then I pushed it back with this Spornet teasing brush. I love it because it's very narrow and thin, so you can get right into the baby hairs and really snatch it up. It's also a boar and nylon mixture brush. That is amazing for thick, coarse textured hair to really snatch it up. When I was little, I used to watch my little sister, who has hair similar to this, just taking a brush like this and just slicking it up into this ponytail. So ever since then, I'm like, this is the secret to snatching things up without having to pre-stretch. So that curl glaze mousse is great too because it doesn't get stiff or crunchy. It really does have this beautiful, still kind of fluid texture when it dries. You can see that it's still held it back, but it doesn't look like, stiff or sticky.
All right, so awesome. So you've got the product in, you put your ponies in, you started at the bottom of the nape, and you're working your way up.
So we're just doing very loose buns. If you're doing this on a client, what I like to do is just pinch the end, especially for this length. We're going to pinch the end, give it a little bit of a twist, and pin it to the base. Try not to make it too small. If they have longer hair, then of course you want to make it a little bit smaller. But with this length, it's really about the fun of letting the expansion of the hair be the star of the show, because you want to utilize what's happened over the last couple of days where the hair started to expand and to really start to fluff out. That's actually really beautiful. Like, people say frizz, I call it a halo. I'm like, that's just your beautiful halo of hair around you. Embrace it and love it. So you see how quick and easy this is to do. And what I love about this too is that if you really wanted to, you could make this last a couple of days. Maybe you can get it like a day 4 or 5 out of this.
So are you using a hairpin or a bobby pin?
So these are just bobby pins. A lot of times with textured hair, you don't have to work too hard to make it stay in place because that texture is already in there. I know sometimes at hair shows you might see us use a micro crimper. It gives us that texture that just really holds things into place. So that's why I really, really love it. Now, in the front, if you wanted to, we could pin this down and give a little faux fringe, but I want this to, again, feel very modern, very Gen Z. So I'm going to pinch that in there. I'm going to pin it into the base and get those 4 buns. I wish my hair was long enough to do this, to be honest with you. I
actually could see you wearing this.
In a heartbeat, 100%. So now we have this really cool bun hairstyle, and to amp it up, what I might do is take a little bit of hairspray. Say you have some of those frizzies. You can embrace them and love them. I think there's a time and a place to let that kind of fly free, but you can take a high hold hairspray and an old makeup brush. I'm going to spray it directly onto the brush. And then you can go into the nape of the neck and just clean that up around the hairline. Again, this can make it feel very purposeful, and just pick up any of those loose hairs that want to pop out and fly away.
That's a great tip.
Look at that. I got another one for you. How about it?
I'm sure you do.
Today you're going to go out, well, a socially distanced night out. In New York City, we do have restaurants open. You can eat out on the sidewalk, but you can get an accessory like this at Ulta Beauty. It's just a hairpin. So easy to do. I'm just going to pop it right into the inside here. And now we have this really beautiful style. It took us barely any time to do, utilizing that beautiful natural texture to give us that elevation and that lift. And look at that.
That looks so cute. You know what I want to talk about with accessories? I think that, you know, historically you would think accessories for formal evening hair, you know, really elaborate. But now you're seeing a lot of young girls go out with a cool jean short and like wedgie shoe, and they've got these cool hair accessories in their hair. So it's not necessarily about going out all dressed up. It could be just hanging out with your friends, cool, fun, fresh way to just spice up your look.
I always liken it back to kind of the rules of makeup and fashion. If you're going to go heavy on an eye, go lighter on the lip. So if you're dressed very casually and you have just a really cool t-shirt and like a pair of jeans, you can really amp up your hair. You can have fun with it, play with it, put an accessory in there. It's such a fun way to just instantly kind of make you feel good and like standing out without having to put in too much effort. Again, it's 100 degrees outside and you don't spend too much time in the bathroom.
All right, so you have your next beautiful curly head model there. Tell us what you're going to do.
So this is, again, an example of day 3 or 4. We had a really beautiful set on day 1 or 2. We probably did a twist out, but for me, this is a wash and go style similar to my hair. So how do you now get it up and off of the neck? Maybe it doesn't feel quite as Gen Z or as young as the last look, but you still want it to be up and off the face. So this is a really easy way. I love to do this on textured hair. All you're going to do is just tilt your head down, starting right where the hair starts going back away from the face. We're going to take those sections and we're going to pin them up towards the front. Just give it one twist. And these are going to be U-shaped pins. They have a little bit of ribbing on them. These are really great. You're going to go in towards the mirror and then back towards the back. That's going to secure it into place.
And now, is that like your foundation you're building?
This is a foundation you're building. And this is why, again, textured hair can be so fun to play with on day 3, 4, 5, because it doesn't get greasy like fine and straighter hair, which you have to rely on dry shampoos. You can really extend the life of your hair when you have texture. You can really just create some really beautiful styles. So, and also I want to note, when you are touching textured hair, say this is not your hair and you're doing this with a client, try not to rough it up too much. The hair will tell you where it wants to part. So you'll see that I put my fingers in, I'm like, oh, it doesn't want to part there. I want to respect that curl grouping. I'm going to let it drop out. I don't want to create too much more fullness because this is a day 3, 4, 5 look. So I don't want to create any more expansion than I need to. I want it to feel very purposeful. So very, very easy to do.
And David, do you have to use any product to kind of work through the hair as you're working up the back of the nape there?
Sometimes what I will do, if I feel like it's just too expanded, maybe frizzed out too much, you can leave a leave-in conditioner. This is actually a style prep. It's actually like a cutting lotion. I love this for textured hair. You can also use a dry oil mist. This is the dry conditioning oil mist from Kenra. It's just has no hold to it. It's just a really lightweight shine spray. So as you're working, sometimes the heat from your hands will cause more expansion. So what I'll do is I'll spray a little bit on that section. It doesn't have any hold, just gonna give me some shine, really lightweight shine. I'll twist once and then put it into place. So you can use a couple of different things, but it just depends on your texture, what your hair happens to be doing that day, and your own porosity and how frizzy it might have gotten. If you're trying this on day 6, you might want to reach for a leave-in conditioner and then just run it through a little bit. But with this hair, the whole beauty and magic of it is really seeing that texture come alive.
You know what's funny, David? Something that I found early in my career that I use all the time is when I'm working with any type of natural curly hair, I'll spray or use some sort of an oil on my hands and emulsify it almost like a lotion so that when I'm working with the hair, it doesn't interrupt the curl and break it apart and add more texture than I really want. So it helps me keep the curl refined and defined.
It's such a good idea to always have a little bit of oil on your hands when you are working with textured hair, whether it is straight up like a serum type oil or even a dry oil conditioning mist. I mean, you know, the term oil sheen, it's very popular for a reason. It really just gives a lightweight conditioning. So again, depending on the porosity or no matter what kind of texture you're working with, I like to have something kind of soft in my hands for expansion. But again, like you said, making sure it's not going over the top.
Now, David, as you're working through this with the sectioning, is there a rhyme or reason? Are you almost bricklaying it up into place?
Yes, totally. You want to bricklay it because you don't want to see too much of the parting of the sectioning. You see how you see a part here? I'm going to try to hide that and bring that up here. I really want it to almost feel like it's suspended on its own. You don't want to see the pins. You don't necessarily want to know that there's a lot of work that might have gone into putting it up, because this is something that is just meant to get it up off the face and off of the neck. You know those days. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had long hair, but you know, on the days like this where the hair's just on your neck, you're like, ugh, get it off me. I need this off my neck, but I want to feel snatched and I want to feel hot. And you love kind of the curls around your face or the hair on your face. This is such a great option for that because it gets it up and off the face, but you still have that really beautiful kind of curly fringe that's in the front. So when you work towards the front, you can already see the shape starting to build very, very easily. What I'll do is to make this, you can of course leave this like this. We're going to pull this up, leave that face framing fringe like that. That's actually really cute. I'm going to show you how you can make it look even more different, and you can make her go to a different place. Because again, textured hair is just so moldable for me, and I just love that it instantly can shift personalities. Does that make sense?
It does. It really does.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is use something that is called the volumizing spray clay. So it does have a hold factor of about 15. It can only go up to 30. And it has a really beautiful, like, I don't want to say dry shampoo or dry texture spray. It's unlike any product I've ever used, but it just really helps with expansion, purposeful expansion. So what I'm going to do is spray this in the, twist the cap, amateur hour, didn't prime the product. Okay, so we're going to twist the cap just like this and spray it into the hairline. That's going to give me a little bit more moldability. And now I'm going to reach for a bobby pin and I'm going to push this to the side, and it just instantly becomes something completely different that she's like, oh, that didn't take me much time. Now I'm going somewhere else. I have it completely off the face and I still feel really cool and kind of put together. And then we can reach for that dry oil conditioning mist just to give a little bit of shine to any areas that might have been roughed up too much.
David, I'm going to make you laugh, and I'm also going to date myself. I think of what, as you started to pull that fringe over and the curls were falling over to one side, I thought of Whitney Houston's Greatest Hits album. Yeah. And she had like the scarf and she had the curls coming over one side.
Totally.
That is a classic look that no matter who wears it, it will stand the test of time.
And everything old is new again. I mean, it's like everything right now that we're seeing is just so 90s and late 80s and 80s inspired. Yep. I love to see it.
Totally.
And just like that. So now we have it up and off of the face, We have this really cool textured style that just feels like celebratory and not like we're trying to hide the texture or we're ashamed of the fuzziness that we might have gotten. It just feels like it's very much embracing of what's happening naturally with this hair type.
I love it. Very beautiful, super easy, easy to conquer. It'll last all night. Always a wealth of knowledge. Stay tuned. David, we're going to come back with you in just a few, give you a minute to reset and take us through some long hair styling. But in the meantime, we're going to switch over to Mr. Ammon Carver. How are you?
What's up, buddy? This is weird.
I know it's kind of fun putting you in the hot seat for a change.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, I've been doing lives and stuff, but never on Unveiling Beauty. You and I are the ones asking questions. It was really difficult for me to not want to chime in and ask David too. I was like, hold on, wait, I'll have my moment. Such good tips, though. I love watching David and learning and being able to see and watch what he was doing. So,
such great tips for sure. But I will tell you, if we did not ask you to share some styling tips, it would be a huge loss to the audience watching today because you are really incredible at styling hair and you do really cool things with shorter hair. So talk to me about what you're going to do today.
yeah, well, first of all, thank you. That's very kind of you. I think what I wanted to make sure we did was really represent everybody, right? So a lot of people I find in the summer months, if they have shorter hair, they're kind of frustrated. Like, how many different things can I do? And then they kind of go for the quintessential, either just like slick it back with a headband or, you know, like do something. They just, not a lot of creativity going into. So I want to give you a couple of tips for anybody that's got like, you know, chin length hair or above, where they can like use some fun accessories, keep their hair looking fresh, and just stay cool looking so they don't just default to that like slick back headband look. Okay. So
Awesome.
the first thing that I want to talk about is if you have a fringe, right, and it's hot outside, like David said, it's 100 degrees outside. Lots of times people cut, like, it's almost like the security blanket, right? The fringe they cut because it makes them feel more secure. They like the way the fringe falls on their face. So they don't necessarily want a hairstyle that removes that because they want it down. So first thing I'll say is if that resonates with you as a person, get the trick where you pull the rest of your hair out of the way and give your fringe a little shampoo and freshening up that it needs, because there's nothing worse than like summertime greasy fringe. So promise number one, dry shampoo or a little baby shampoo in just that front place so that the rest of the hair can relax and enjoy and be reparative during summer, but your fringe doesn't get greasy and gross. So we have her nice and I literally just let her hair air dry, right? And so what I'm enjoying right now, and you can already see I've kind of worked through the back here. And Nick, we talked a little bit already with David about accessories. And right now, scarves, everybody's loving and playing around with these scarves, whether it's long hair or short hair. And so what I wanted to do was kind of just show you a quick little technique that incorporates a scarf into a way to pull it back away from your face that you can see with the detail there. That will then be able to either you can use that little ponytail or just tuck it and hide it away. So on this side, I'll show you like the separation. So right in the center, I have, if you guys can see, a clip holding the very center of the actual scarf itself. So I don't have to worry about unwinding on the other side. But I wanted to show you the pre-sectioning so you can see where I'm at first. So coming straight from behind, if you guys can see, this is at the occipital, right? So at the occipital, a nice little ponytail, and I'm using that to just kind of eliminate that length. I have the option of like, once this is finished, twist, hide, and like tuck it under. So it almost looks like the hair is kind of like put up, but we'll get there in a second. Second piece that you want is like this section here, nice, soft, rounded section. If you can see, that's gonna cover over this and give the ability to hide this if you want to, or it can be added to it if you're one of those people who has a little bit more length and wants a ponytail. And then here's the important part. So this section, if you guys can see, is right along the front, and it's going to incorporate the hair that we're going to then twist into the fringe, right? So can you see that okay, Nick?
Yeah.
Right there. So if I lift that up, the important thing is this needs to feel, it needs to feel organic. So the sectioning for your fringe shouldn't be as though you were going to like section it in a triangle, like cut it like for a fringe, right? Just let it fall where it will. Now I have this section that really it's about 1.5 inches that just goes along that front hairline. And what I can do is just like, you know, when we do like those twist outs or on like set twists, it's literally just going to create the same thing, only this becomes one of the strands, right? So pick up the
almost
section.
like a rope twist.
Exactly. So if the scarf is rotating one way, twist the hair the opposite way and then cross. right? And then this way they create that kind of rope texture,
Yep.
right? So then I can then switch hands, grab my section of hair, make sure I go all the way through that section that I've left out so I don't have random hairs. Now I just add it to that piece that I had, continue twisting it. So what I want to do is, as I'm twisting, regular rope twist. Can you still see that okay?
Yeah,
So
looks good.
what I want to do is, but before I secure it, I want to show this off a little bit more, like, right? And I'll be honest with you, like, so I can now take this off in the middle, and I'm just going to start to, just like you would in like a braid, just start to kind of like fluff up the actual,
the hair.
what's the bandana, the whatever you want to call this. This is like literally, you guys are going to laugh, and I don't care if you like make fun of me, but like, I don't have a whole lot of scarves or bandanas, but this is like a little pocket square that I thought was kind of like chic. So I literally just turned it into a pocket. Now I'm going to follow this all the way around. And I'm going to twist this, twist it, twist it, twist it. And then I'm just going to incorporate it into that ponytail, right? So it's nice and secure. I'm not going to worry about these pieces right now. I'm just going to wrap it around. Use a hairpin or a U-pin like David. And then I can just put it through without even having to like worry about like ruining my scarf. I just go over it, grab, and press it down. Right, so now I still have the ability of moving that around if I need to, but it's all pulled back. So you can see that I've clipped this hair out of the way. Now I have the time, and this is the part where it's kind of up to you. I want to look at like straight ahead, because some people like the Bridget Bardot bump behind. That's all up to you. Like if you just want to have it
looks cute just like that.
Down, it's so cute. I did like a tiny bit of teasing and just locked it in place with my favorite, like the Lustrous Finishing Spray, because she air dried like in the center. So trying to get it to pop up, it just looked flat and kind of like, so all I did was give it a little like lift, and then just take your comb. A little tip is, if you want that to come straight back, is just take your comb, lift up like the front section that you need, and then back it up with a little bit of hairspray and let it sit for just a second, so you get that lift, like the lift that you're looking for there. But for me, since the episode is called Easy Summertime Styles, I don't want it to get too coiffed, right? Because that doesn't feel synonymous with easy to me. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is, now I'm deciding I don't want this to be like a ponytail. So I'm going to actually really quickly lift this out of the way again. And then I'm just going to take this little like nubby guy that you can see here, and I'm just going to twist it and just like pin it down, anchor it down.
I thought it looked cute with it out too.
Yeah,
it's cute. That's what I'd say. Like some people, I think, will like a little ponytail action there. So, I think it just depends on what you're doing. Like if you're wearing like a summertime dress and you're going out for like a summertime dinner, like having it all up is kind of chic, I think. Yeah. But if you're just like running around town and just want to throw it in there, then I think both are really cute. And then I'm just going to do like a little pleat. So what I mean by a pleat is like I twist it, the whole section together. If you can see that. And then I just fold it under. I hate that. It's like live TV. It's like, oh, how many times do you do this? And then all of a sudden, like, everybody's watching and it's suddenly hard. So I'm just going to pleat it. And almost like just like a French twist, right? Where you can like, you take a whole bunch of these pins just to like anchor and support as you're working. So come in here, wanting to make sure I get it close enough so you guys can see what's going on. Nick, you got to guide me.
Yeah, looks good. Yep. Okay.
So it goes in this way, anchors this way, and I just go and put a few of these in here to make sure that it's not just going to spring loose on me, and then anchor. Nice. And then now, let's see if I can use the mirror as this. So hairspray to support, not to create, right? Nick, how many times have we learned this foundation?
Oh, so yeah.
And now you have a look that's basically like short hair.
So cute.
It was a bob to here. She's still got that cute little fringe. It's nice and loose. Little accessory. She's ready. Summertime ready.
I love it. It looks amazing. And you know what I love about that is like the illusion is that her hair is actually really long because it's all tucked up. So you gave somebody with a short style that feels maybe very committed to the style that she wears every day down to do something tremendously different, fun, exciting, and great for summer.
She's not sweating on her neck like what David was saying. So
awesome.
Well, thanks
don't
for
go
letting
anywhere.
me do hair today. It was awesome.
I know. This is fun.
I'm not going
this
anywhere.
is fun.
I'll be here.
We're going to put you to work more often. But stick around. I'm going to head over to David, and we're going to come back to you in just a minute.
Sounds great. Sounds good.
All right, David. We're back. How are you?
I'm great. I have cooled down. I have another head of hair in front of me. We're going to do some more summer hairstyles. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Tell me all about this. I love the texture that's in her hair.
Yeah, I love this texture. And, texture means all things in the scale, obviously, from 1 to 4. And this is the person who just has really beautiful natural texture. They might have enhanced it with an iron day 1 or day 2, just to give them this really beautiful full look. Now, it's going into day 3 or 4. You might be thinking, you know what, I want to wear it down tonight. I might be going out on a socially distanced date with your partner or seeing some friends. But during the day, it's just really hot. And I don't necessarily want to put it up and ruin this texture. She's really loving this texture. She loves what it looks like. And it's that really lived-in, beautiful hair. Now, here's a way you can very quickly and easily pull it up while still respecting the natural texture that's happening on your head and not having to worry about having any sort of ponytail mark. So, the first thing we're going to do, and you would do if you're doing this on yourself, is tilt your head back like this up towards the ceiling. You want to get the movement back away from your face. We're going to use that volumizing spray clay again. This is just going to give us a little bit of hold and not have to worry about having to use hairspray to keep it up and off of the face. This does have a hold level of 15, so it is definitely going to keep it in place. Now, this is going to give us some expansion in the crown as well, because we want this to, again, feel very purposeful, because there's no reason why your summer hairstyle shouldn't still be put together or feel purposeful without having to resort to heat products or a ton of products in general. So now what you're going to do is go to the nape of your neck, and you're going to separate 2 sections out on each side. So we have one section here, and we're going to have one section on the other side. Very, very simple and easy. I'm going to turn it around so you can see what I'm doing. Can you see that? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And then all you do is make sure that you have the texture that you're looking for. We're going to take this hair and we're going to tie it. Very, very simple. Just tie it up. Try to make sure that none of that hair comes through. You want to keep that hair down there. We're going to tie this now because you're not using an elastic. You're using your own hair. You're not going to have that ponytail mark if you were to pull it up. Now, of course, as if you're working on the house, if you're going to be outside, you probably don't want your hair down your back, so you probably want to pull it up. But if you know that you're going to be maybe in and out of the house a couple times during the day, it is still warm, you want it up and off the face, just give it a tie. We're going to tie it again into a little knot. Don't worry about this knotting. I've never once in the decade I've been doing this look has this ever happened. And this is also great for curly hair too. Say you're type 3s that want to pull their hair up during the day, but they don't want to get that ponytail mark. This is such a fantastic tip for them. Then very easily with a bobby pin, I'm going to use just 1 or 2 because you have that really beautiful built-in texture. We're just going to secure it in place.
You know what I like about this, David, is, as a hairstylist, your natural instinct would be to grab a hair tie or an elastic to go pull that hair back. But to your earlier point, you want to preserve the texture that's in the hair. So using the person's own hair to actually create that knot is going to use the natural oils in the hair. So it's not going to disrupt the curl formation that you put in the hair.
Exactly. So once she takes that down, at the end of the night, maybe she's like, I'm going to take my hair down. I'm going to go for a stroll with my friends. I want to have my hair done. I love my texture that I have right now. When you release that, this is such a great, almost protective style for waves or for curls, because when you take it down, you don't have that ponytail mark. So now what I'm doing is just to kind of tighten this up a little bit. This might be where you might kind of tuck this one behind the ear, just pull it back. I love when the face framing layers are down around the face. It's very romantic and sweet, especially for summer. Maybe this side, what we're going to do is pull this all the way back. We'll pull out maybe some face framing layers that are just around the hairline like that. And then we'll pull this all the way back. And bobby pins are great for this. Very, very easy. And again, we're respecting that natural texture and we're using some of that fluffiness and that frizz that's starting to happen. Again, refer to it as your halo, not as your frizz. It's a natural part, it's an organic fiber. When you're working with heat and humidity, it's going to happen. So instead of fighting it, try to learn how to embrace it and amplify it so it just feels very purposeful and beautiful, because it can feel very soft and romantic. You know, when we're on set together, how often do we create frizz on purpose as a beautiful look, you know, and we should have that in real life too. So I'm just going to pull some pieces up. I'm going to go up then for that volumizing spray clay and just do the hairstylist zhuzh around the hairline, just to lift that up and away from the face. And we have a really beautiful style that is up and away from the face, pulled back, very boho, very much for that person that's like, I want it up and away from my face, but I don't want to have to resort to a hair tie, and I just love how this looks. So
really pretty, again, very soft. I like that.
Soft. Now, for the girl who wants a snatchural look, she's not the same girl, okay? She's like,
at least not on the same day.
No. She wants to go and pull it up, but you don't. What I don't like to see sometimes when people pull up their hair, I call it the airport bun. You know, when you're at the airport and you see girls with long hair just pull up their bun and they're just walking in and it's just knobbing on top of their head. It's just like, you didn't even think about it. You know, you don't want to be at that level. You want it to feel very purposeful, and it doesn't have to take a lot of effort. So if you are on day 2, day 3, and you feel like I'm oily, but I don't want to reach for dry shampoo, utilize those natural oils and create a really beautiful slick back ponytail. This is such a great time to really just snatch your hair up and away from the face. Then you have that really beautiful day 2, day 3 texture in your hair. Again, going back to that balance of a heavy eye and a light lip, how about something very sleek and tight here, and then a lot of lived in texture in the ponytail? And then say you want to make it a little bit more on purpose, you can have these little pearls that you can buy at Ulta Beauty that just screw right in, and all of a sudden it feels very cute. And she's just like, I did this on purpose and I feel put together, because I know we all know how it feels when you have your hair done and it's just like put together. You're like, okay, I feel good right now.
I'm ready for the world.
It feels different than the airport bun. You know what I mean? That feels very much chill out. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Talk to me about product for 1 second here. So you have it really nice and smooth, and then you have it really textured. Do you use 2 different products? Do you use a lot of product, no product?
Yeah, so it depends on of course, your own natural hair density around your hairline. But if you do have kind of thicker hair like this mannequin does, I'm going to reach right for that hairspray or a mousse. You can use that curl glaze mousse that I used earlier, or just even a volume mousse or any sort of bodifying mousse. Put it around the hairline, brush the hair into place. What the mousse is going to do is kind of help collapse the hair a little bit and make it feel a little bit more purposeful. If you want to shellac it even more, you can of course do the hairspray trick to spray the whole hairline, and then use that similar brush that I used before, something with bore and nylon, and really pull it nice and tight. And another thing to make it feel purposeful, much like before, make sure your ponytail is lined up with your features. So either follow the lower jawline or the top of the cheekbone, so that when you pull it up from the side and from the front, it just has a really beautiful balance. And again, it just really leans to make it feel more purposeful and put together. But you don't have to, again, work too hard. You don't have to reach for new products or try new things. If you have a mousse, if you have a gel, if you have a hairspray, a high hold hairspray, we'll definitely slick it back and work with those natural oils. Definitely work with those natural oils.
Well done. I love it. Always a wealth of knowledge. Lots of different tips and tricks. Thank you, my friend, for being on today. So good to see you. I'm sure I will see you very, very, very soon on another episode of Unveiling Beauty. All right. We'll see you soon. Mr. Carver.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Oh my gosh, thank goodness I didn't do my airport top knot that I was planning on showing today.
You specialize in the airport top knot?
I was going to call it that and everything. David is so funny, so funny. Such good tips, though.
Well, lots of good tips and tricks today, but you know what? It doesn't stop just here. Talk to us about what we can expect on the next Unveiling Beauty.
Yeah, fun episode coming up. Our design team is once again going to take over. But this time, the title of the show is going to be called The Power of Giving Back, featuring our design team, which just like, they came up with a concept, makes my heart so warm, because they got to talk about Pride last month, and then they wanted to do another one to really highlight all the other organizations and partnerships that they're so proud to be a part of with Ulta Beauty that we really talk about. So it's an episode all about the heart and spirit of the beauty professional and what we can do as a collective group to give back.
I love it. I can't wait to see that episode. And for all of you tuning in today, please tell us, what were the tips and tricks that you love the most? We want to hear all about it. And we also want to know, what do you want to learn? What do you want to know next? We are working on our calendar for the rest of the season, the summer season all the way into fall, and we want to make sure we're giving you what you need to be successful. But for today, that's all. I look forward to seeing you on the next Unveiling Beauty. Have a good day, everyone.